All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. I'm Andrew.
And I'm certain I put the list around here somewhere.
What list?
The Epstein list. I'm certain I
Who?
had it, but it's gone now.
Who's Epstein?
Precisely. No one cares. Do you know what I mean? It's
And
in the
what
past,
list?
mate. You're living in the past. Well, clearly there is no list. I thought I had it.
Like,
Someone said they handed it to me, but
I
then
feel.
I don't
Do you know
have
who I really feel for? Ghislaine.
it.
She's been put in
For
prison
nothing.
for trafficking children to no one.
To someone who doesn't exist. There's no justice.
If there's any justice
In
in
the
the world, I would be your man. You would be my girl. Oh
Ooh.
yeah, we got
That
to
is
work
a
on the
banger,
harmonies a little
though.
bit.
What's that, Lamar?
Isn't it blue?
I thought it was Lamar.
All right, we're gonna have to Google that.
All right, yeah, okay, we're not going to be able to just move on.
Pad. What's the song called?
If there's any, just Google the lyrics.
If there's any.
It was like 2007, 2008
You're spot
R&B
on, it is
banger is Lamar.
Yeah,
2000, what year?
Well, 2004.
2004. Whoa, that's
Bro,
old
we're
school.
old. We're old. That's just the truth of it. We were
Well, speaking
13
of-
when that came out.
Listen, speaking of
Oh
old,
no, you would have been 11.
Yeah, no, depends when it came out. I might have been 11. I don't think it
It
matters.
doesn't say.
But you were telling me just before we started recording about your nephew.
Oh, that he's discovered Linkin Park
Yeah, turns to you
and goes, "Have you heard of Linkin Park?" The thing is, though, I don't.
as if, please, say what you said.
I literally said to him, "Mate, I've been into Linkin Park since before you were a glint in your mum's
What you said to me.
What's that?
You think darkness is your ally?
You think Linkin Park is your ally? I was born in it, molded by it.
That is phenomenal, by the way. That deserves a round of applause.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The secret is you have to cover your mouth when you do the bone voice. And do you know how I realised that? Because he's got a mask over his mouth. It changes the voice.
This is like being on inside the actors' table.
Do you know what? This is a little known fact. Before Tom Hardy played the role, we did a bit of, back and forth. He consulted me. Do you know what I mean?
Who wouldn't? Smart lad.
And not just for the voice, for the
Physique.
bulking up and
Everything.
becoming physically imposing.
Everything.
Like that. Yeah,
You are physically imposing.
And, and I'm handsome and
Yeah.
charismatic.
I think you were just busy that week when they were filming it, weren't you? That's why you didn't take it.
I turned it down. I thought I was better than it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we've all been there. Because
Sure.
you thought, look, Batman Begins, banger. Dark
Yeah.
Knight, banger. The chances of having 3 good films.
Do you know what, though? I think that film's aged well. For me, anyway.
I think genuinely we had to have a chance to appreciate it. It came straight after The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight tied with Heath Ledger's death, so it was kind of his opus magnus, his grand masterpiece.
Yeah, and it's wrapped up in that grief and shock that Heath Ledger dies
So it
it sees the light of day.
Also, and I'll say this time and time again, endings are hard.
Yeah.
Like, how many series and shows have you watched?
And I actually think it manages it.
I think it does fine, yeah.
But I still think it's what the first fight scene between Batman and Bane is still, for me, one of the best on-screen fights for me.
Well, yeah, there's loads of TV shows that we've watched, and you love them, but the end you're a bit like,
Well, Game of Thrones, How I Met Your Mother. It's incredibly difficult to stick the landing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, even Sons of Anarchy, there's a part of the ending that you're like, that
yeah,
could have been done better.
Agreed.
Yeah. So it is very difficult, and I think Christopher Nolan did, considering the facts.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's just the timing of Heath Ledger's death.
I just think like he should release something that's like, this is what the third would have looked like had Heath
like a
passed
storyboard or something.
Yeah,
or hand it over to an animation team and
well, not even necessarily make it, but just like even if he released like
the treatment, the script.
Yeah, something that was like, this was the broad story of what would have happened in that film, just to know what it would have looked like. But yeah.
No, I'm happy for it. But yeah, no, the idea that your nephew's just like Linkin Park.
But to be honest, it just made me excited because I was like, oh my fuck, he's into rock music now. So then I was like, I can actually impart my wisdom. Do you know what I mean? I was like, have you heard Stairway to Heaven? He was like, I've heard of it. I was like, you need to. Do you know what I mean? I was like, Foo Fighters, The Pretender. I was like, best.
You are now. I'm picturing you as like some 70s college guru, the stoner in the room with the big long beard, and the kids come to him and he's like, "Have you heard of a band called Rush or whatever?" And you're like, "Take this album, my man. This is going to change your life."
I said to him like Def Leppard. He was like, "What the hell's Def Leppard?" I was like, and I said, "You need to sit." I was like, "Pour some sugar on me," and I was like, "Probably, arguably, the best version isn't even by Def Leppard. Tom Cruise has a rendition of it.
The Def Leppard version is the ultimate.
I don't know.
Version.
I'm quite a fan of the Tom Cruise one.
Leave it out.
I like it.
Leave it out.
I think it's the whole like he sort of transforms in that film a little bit, Rock of Ages, and like I just love the imagery that I could see myself doing it if I was able to let go on stage. Would be like the whole because he sort of shakes the champagne bottle, facing away from the crowd, like simulating that he's doing something provocative. And then it explodes, and he's like throwing it all over the crowd. And I mean, in reality, the crowd would be pissed if you did that to them. But
I don't even think they would. People at the front row, they're like, "Oh my god!"
They might feel differently if it was me, topless in leather trousers.
Disagree if they've come to see you.
Yeah, I guess
and you
so.
make them wet, and then make them wet.
No, but that's the thing. Tom Cruise was making them wet. I don't know if I'm making them wet and then I make them wet afterwards with the champagne. But
I think you're hitting the double whammy.
Well, that's very kind of you, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, no, it was just great having like a back and forth with him because he was like into the Rage sort of songs from Linkin Park, and I was like, mate, you got to like listen to Slipknot and Duality like that in particular. Like, watch the video; it was quite iconic at the time. I was like, text me and I will send you a list.
There's some good stuff you can get into. There's a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely. But yeah, it was just a nice little. But it was just funny him looking at me. Have you ever heard of Linkin Park?
Yeah, as if they're this.
But I had to break the sad news to him that Chester's not around anymore. No.
Was that easy? You just said
he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Because he's passed away." And at first he didn't ask how, but he did eventually say like, "How did he pass?" And he took his own life, and but he wasn't as big a fan of the newest song, whereas I actually quite like it. So.
Oh, the
Emptiness Machine.
Emptiness Machine. They've got a newer one out as well. Newer single. Yeah.
So you know me, I'm not current. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm down with the kids. Do you know what I mean? I am on the ball.
And you're current.
And I'm current. I've got my finger on the pulse.
And then you're paying attention to what's going on.
All the Benson Boones.
Do you know what though? I sort of respect his swagger. Like I like someone who's just like
Benson.
Yeah, someone who's
and he's got some bangers. Like I'll give him his dues.
I only really know the one. These Beautiful Things.
And that's a good song.
Yeah, and like him doing the front flip off the piano.
Oh, the Brits, was it?
Yeah, like
or
that.
the Grammys.
And I was like, I dig it, and like having them rip his suit off. I dig it. I'm on board with it.
Also, he looks so Australian just because he's got a tash. There's something about a white man with a tash that just is.
It looks 70 porn star, doesn't it?
But like even now, if I saw a white man with a tash, I'd just go.
I really want you to grow a tash.
If I could, I would, and you and I both know that.
Yeah. I don't think it would suit me if I did it.
Don't know. I think you could get the handlebar. I think if you if you shaved everything else off and just kept this bit.
My dream is the Dumbledore, Gandalf, long arse, grey beard.
Well, you got to wait for it to go grey first.
Yeah, I'm on the journey. Do you know what I mean?
It's a journey. It's a journey.
It is a journey.
You're on it.
We're all on it.
We're all on the journey of aging.
We're all going to die.
Cool, but Benson Boone's cool.
Took a dark turn. Down the dark alley. What do you fancy talking about, mate?
Well, there is a lot to talk about.
There is.
I'm happy to start wherever.
I'll tell you what, let's start off on something positive before we go dark. One person I do like, again, it's on brand because we're talking about music and stuff. And again, I've not really listened to a lot of his music. I liked his latest single, which I believe is called Zombie, that is Young Blood.
Oh yeah.
And I dig his vibe. I like what I see when I see him in interviews. He seems very personable. He's really not good to the fans. Like I've seen clips of him. Like a fan was getting an autograph and a hug from him, and she was like, "Your music saved my life," and he was like, "No, my music didn't save your life. You saved your life. It might have helped, but you know, you did the hard work, not me." And like he's created his own festival called Bloodfest, which is a cheaper festival because he disagrees with how much the main festivals charge. he appeared at Ozzy Osbourne's final ever show and performed.
What a
with
farewell
him.
show, by the way. I'm getting Metallica to be your.
I haven't seen all of it.
act.
I didn't even know they were on it. But you can understand it because he is a legend in the metal space, isn't he?
Oh, big time. The Black Sabbath are huge.
And it is quite sad to see him in the state he's in, bless him.
Yeah, he performed the whole show. He was in an armchair.
Yeah,
like a
rock
cool
throne.
Black, like a throne.
Yeah,
but he was just
a metal throne.
It was just an arm. He just. But the man's got Parkinson's. I think I'm pretty sure.
Has he got? Well, I'm not. To be honest, if he hasn't got Parkinson's, he's done damage to his brain over the years.
Listen, as we know, historically, biting a bat does not result in good things for your health.
No.
I know of 2 examples.
One in Wuhan.
One in Wuhan.
But that's not true. That's been disproven now.
Well, that's just your theory. That's just
my
your theory.
No, it's pretty widely accepted. It was a lab leak now.
I mean, look, it seems a little bit suspicious that they had a
coronavirus testing
lab
and it
on the
spread.
site where it leaked.
Yeah.
Seems a little bit sus.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, do you think it was the soup? Do you think it was the?"
It was the bloke biting the bat.
You're right. I think it was the market.
But what's the other one? Am I
Well,
missing a
Ozzy
reference?
Osbourne, where he bit the head off a bat.
Oh, did he?
Didn't really, but
okay.
It's like metal folklore that he bit the head off a bat on stage.
Well, look, I wouldn't write it off. He's a weird dude.
And you got a snack. Do you know what I mean? It's quite.
I mean, that wouldn't be my go-to, particularly on stage. I might go for a power bar, or do you know what I mean?
But the 70s were a different time.
They were. Power bars might not have been as readily available.
I don't think they were.
The fact a bat was more readily available concerns me.
Just sort of flew and you.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I don't know. He grabbed it out. They had it on. It was like
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
But that wasn't what we were talking about.
No, I was mentioning Youngblood,
Youngblood.
just that I'm a fan. Like, I've seen him on podcasts, and he's very open about men's mental health, and he's like all for because the discussion's going on that we feel like men are very confused about what they should or shouldn't be, and so he's just been trying to be a positive influence in the male space.
No, and he's definitely got that androgynous thing going on as well.
I'll be honest, I think there's something attractive about him. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think maybe we should invite him?
I mean, whether he'd come on
for a little threesome,
for a freeway pod or for a sexual dalliance.
Either. Listen, whatever he says yes to.
Look, if it makes us friends with him, he'd be more likely to come on the pod afterwards. So yeah, why not?
Oh yes, we can all sit around, debrief.
I think he'd jam as well.
I think he'd jam.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
I'm game for it. But look, I agree. Everything I see of him.
But that makes me
really
worry because of my track record of backing.
You think he's going to turn out to be a diddler?
Or a rapist or something. Like, look, I don't want to put that out there because I actually don't think he is. He seems like a genuinely nice human being.
But historically, you've backed some wrong uns.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Like, watch this space.
Just Youngblood, watch yourself.
Just behave, please, mate.
Please.
We need someone who's good out there.
We need a role model.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was just one of the points I wanted to make.
No, and it's good, and he kind of makes me feel like and there's loads of artists that are out there that are doing it more so now than there have been historically, but like him and people like Chapel Roan as well.
I'm not kind aware of Chapel. I've heard the name,
but they, I love that they it's a performance art. They really put everything into.
Oh, totally.
It's almost like characters.
Yeah.
So even though they are putting a lot of themselves into their music, but when they get on stage, they kind of like.
They come out.
They're performing, and like he's got the balls of energy when you see him performing. I saw him doing a tent at Glastonbury 2-3 years, or maybe longer. You know what my sense of time's like.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to see that the young people are bringing that stuff to the fore.
I would say I do think there is a danger to the sort of fandom someone like him develops, because it is not too far off from someone like Jared Leto, in the sense of this almost like cultish, like adoration and like putting them on a pedestal.
But at least we know from his own track record that if he does his own weird Jared Leto thing, he won't charge 10 grand a ticket.
No, it'll be cheaper.
It'll be a lot more affordable.
The sexual assault will be far more accessible.
Probably get it on Klarna.
But it is weird when you see him and then you hear his accent come out. And
but he is northern. That is one thing going against him.
Yeah. Well, look, you may hate the Northerners. I don't have an issue with the Northerners.
Well, hate's a strong word.
I mean, any time we mention anyone from the North, you're pretty much against them.
That it goes.
Don't like Liverpool. Pretty sure you don't like I'm pretty sure you don't like Manchester or the people.
Mad for it.
I mean, I haven't heard you slag off Geordies particularly, so maybe you're all right with them.
Can't understand them. Listen, would if I could.
Also, they have more of a jolly accent, don't they?
Well, supposedly the female. I mean, oh God, the female accent is apparently so friendly that and the Belfast, that they do loads.
I gotta admit, I do like the Geordie accent.
They do loads of call centres in Newcastle and Belfast because they figure that by the time you get through, no matter how irate you are, the friendly tone
it disarms you
of
immediately.
The Northern Irish, the Belfast Northern Irish.
See, I think the Irish one's probably the opposite in the sense of it's more intimidating.
But from this, the difference from women, it's not, but from men, apparently it is.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, if you got up and like, what about you? Get to it, man, spat it out.
Yeah.
I want to change my insurance.
No, you fucking don't. I don't know what that was. I give up.
That's wild.
Hey
man, you want to change your insurance?
What was that? That was Scottish, isn't it?
It's a little bit Geordie, but it wasn't. No. It was intended as Geordie.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though?
I thought you were trying to do Glasgow.
we both put ourselves out there.
No, look,
we are performers ourselves.
I wish I had that sort of confidence, to be honest. Like, when I see someone like a young blood, I'm like, I wish I had the confidence to just go on a stage and put yourself out there and not be afraid. And that's why I think it's a positive role model for people.
Agreed. We like young blood.
It's the same as someone like a Freddie Mercury. I think I like those type of performers that just leave everything on the stage. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's where you're at. Fair enough.
On young blood.
Fair enough. Should we mention briefly, I suppose, while we're on performers and performances, that Oasis started their comeback tour?
Yeah.
And there's a famous shot of a woman in the crowd shazamming.
Yes, I saw that.
I can't even remember which song it is. I think I've only ever seen the picture. I don't think
I'm not sure what the song is.
But it was not one of their backtracks. It wasn't one of the album hits.
It was one of their famous ones.
It was like a Live Forever or a Wonderwall or something.
Yeah.
Because the kind of thing that went around was like, this is who robbed you of your ticket.
That's the mental part, isn't it? It's like, how can someone be willing to... I mean, she probably didn't spend that money. Someone might have bought her the ticket.
Partner or a parent or something.
Why would you take someone to that who had no knowledge?
Or had no interest. Like, do you know what I mean?
Because I don't know, I'm the sort of person, as you know, like with the Palace final, if I don't feel I should authentically be there and someone else could have access to it, I would rather the other person has access to it.
I imagine she was outside like a week before we were not doing it. We were like, have you heard of Oasis? Going to see them, little known band.
Yeah.
Apparently they've got a couple of hits, but I'll figure it out for myself when I get there.
Because that reminds me, when I was talking to my nephew, I mentioned, I said, I don't know if you've heard of Nirvana. He's like, everyone's heard of Nirvana. Because he asked me who Foo Fighters was, so I was trying to explain who Dave Grohl was. And he was like, everyone knows who Foo Fighters was. I mean, who Nirvana was. And I was like, but you didn't know who Oasis was, so it's not an insult. I just don't know.
I mean, look, I still remember that day a few years ago when I was with a young guy, a really lovely guy, a lot of time for him. And I said, Inhaler came on the radio. And I went, this is, I said, there's certain parts where you're hearing him sing. I said, well, you really tell that it's Bono's son and that he's related. I was like, you can hear Bono in him a little bit from certain notes and stuff. And he was like, who?
Bono?
And I was like, what? Bono? And like I said, I was like, it would have been, if you'd have said The Edge or something, fair enough. If you
think about it, since I would argue before the whole iPhone and having his album put on against
they just dropped it, yeah.
Even before that, he probably stopped being relevant after our childhoods, probably. I mean, he still, I imagine U2 tours
I was
crazy,
just like...
But I doubt they're relevant to the young people. Do you know what I mean?
No, it is, I suppose it is all about relevance, but...
Yeah.
I was like, Bono? Yeah. Come on, man, Bono.
Oh, by the way, we've got another surprise for this week.
Have we?
It's a second drink. I don't know if you're into it. Chocomel.
Do you know what's going to really surprise you here? I think I've had it.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't getting it because I thought you've never had it. I just thought it was a nice treat.
I'm very grateful. You treat me very well.
Of course. You're my boo. You're my podcast bae.
I feel like I don't reciprocate enough.
Well, just more blowjobs would be appreciated.
If that's what you want to do, I'm always happy to get more blowjobs.
Oh, that reminds me of being abroad. Cheers. Cheers to the Chocomel.
Yes, 30-degree heat. You've just wandered into a shop and picked up one of them for your walk back to the villa or the hotel.
And they used to be in glass as well, if I remember correctly, and that just made it feel more posh.
I mean, that is exactly the kind of thing you'd go to a restaurant, you'd get that in a glass.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But it takes me back to going to like Spain as a child or to Greece. So I just thought it was a nice.
No, I like it. And I'm big fans of both Spain and Greece.
Apart from the people.
Oh, it's the timings of the Greeks more than anything.
I would have thought the Spanish would be worse, personally, with siestas and such.
I think it's because we get the ferry over from Italy to Greece on certain trips, and you're dealing with like the two worst people for timings.
The Italians and the Greeks.
And you're like, this is just doomed from the start. There's no way this is running efficiently.
Yeah. A little bit rich of you, though. Self-admitted terrible timekeeper.
Yeah, no, but when I'm at work, it's different. And I think that really annoys Steph. Because she's like, I know you can do it.
Yeah, you can turn it on and off, basically.
I can't turn it on and off. It's like I've got a finite amount of punctuality.
No, but if you boiled it down, basically what it means is when you deem something important enough, you can turn it on.
No, that's an interpretation.
There's not an interpretation.
This is the interpretation. There's a finite amount of organisation and punctuality, and I put it all into work.
Oh, okay. So you're claiming you save it all
I've got nothing left, yeah.
Those sort of arguments won't win you friends in a relationship.
Who needs friends? I'm in a relationship.
For now.
Listen, not here to have a lovely fun time and we're all batting along together and it's all lovely, lovely. I'm here to win.
Good luck with that. Right. Speaking of rocky relationships, there's a story you wanted to talk to me about.
Here we go.
Again, a beautiful segue.
Is it the mushroom lady?
Yeah.
I love this story.
Explain to me, because I now know the basics of what happened, but you seemed very invested in it. What was it that got you invested in it?
I sort of remember when it broke, and it was at the time. So you limited information.
How long are we talking?
Last year before.
Okay.
So a woman had invited her former partner.
Yep.
And his parents, and I'm pretty sure his sister, round for lunch.
Yep.
And within a day, most of them had died.
Yep.
Her ex-partner had survived, but was critically ill and was really, really in a bad way. And then it came out that they'd eaten death cap mushrooms.
Yep.
And they'd been served these death cap mushrooms for lunch. And then you realise that
shut that fucking door.
It's up to you. So only we can hear it. No one else will hear that.
I hope not.
There's
all
a
right,
dog.
well, just in case they can, there's a dog barking because we got the door open because there's a heat wave going on. Anyway, continue. Death cap mushrooms.
So anyway, she's fine. Like, she's not even a little bit ill. She's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So immediately it looks dodgy. And I just remember thinking like, ooh, that's good. Because she'd also, we knew at the time as well that she'd told police that she got them in this little Asian market.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they pressed her, she was like, oh, I don't know where it is. And they were like, just a street, a town. You want to give us something?
Where's this market?
And she was like, oh, I think it was over here. There's no Asian market there.
A quick Google would have saved her. Do you know what I mean?
It's wild. So basically, I'm going to walk you through now what happened.
Yep.
From what we know from the trial and what we know from all the information that's been released. This is insane. This woman gets her, like I said, she gets her ex-partner, so not her ex. I've got to get this right. I've got to look up the article because the ex-partner actually cancelled the day before.
Yes, because
he said that tensions had been rocky. I wonder if I'll just type mushroom lady Australia. So I've got to get this right. So please pad while I find out who was actually involved.
I don't know how to pad. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to keep talking and see what happens.
Right. Yes. Okay. So here we go.
I didn't have to pad for long.
So she said to her mother-in-law, well, like her ex's, her mother-in-law, her father-in-law, her sister-in-law, and her brother-in-law through her sister's husband.
Yep.
And she said come round because I have, I'm going in for surgery. I've got cancer.
Yeah.
Turns out she doesn't have cancer.
No, she lied.
She said, oh, it was actually, I was going for weight loss surgery and I felt really embarrassed about it. 2 seconds. I just want to I get sure who survived the mushroom poisoning.
I think.
Yeah, the brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So anyway, so is
the ex-husband dead?
No, he didn't go.
Oh, he didn't actually go in the end.
He said that tensions between the two of them were really rocky in the weeks leading up to it, and he was kind of like, I just don't want anything to do with this. So she gets them round. She says to her ex's family, she says, come round, because I've got, like, I just want to see you before this cancer thing. And they're obviously all a bit concerned.
Weird, though? Like, just pause for a second. If, like, I don't know, me and Leanne in the future broke up, and
you invite her mum round for...
That would be, like, because I've got cancer and I just want to have a chat with her before I have surgery. That's just, I don't know, that seems a bit weird to me, but anyway.
Anyway, they go round because they think she's got cancer. She hasn't got cancer. And she serves them all beef Wellington.
Which are all individual.
Which, first of all, who the fuck cooks individual beef Wellingtons?
That many of them as
well.
For
a dinner party, you do one big one and you cut it up.
Yeah.
No, she did individual beef Wellingtons. And that night, they all felt really, really ill.
And if I remember correctly, she had distinctly...
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
Her plate was different.
Her plate was orange.
Yeah.
Everyone else's plate was grey, and her plate was orange. You tell me this isn't sus.
Yeah.
Then they all get ill, and they're checked into hospital. She goes into hospital as well. And slowly but surely, they're just suddenly facing mass organ failure. So very short amount of time, they all pass away.
Yeah.
Except for the brother-in-law, who after a good couple of months in a coma, he does wake up and he does survive. And that's when he provides some of the details. The fact that it was individual Wellingtons, the fact that it was, her plate was orange and everyone else's was grey.
Yeah.
She checks herself out. Anyways, I've gone ahead. So she's used death cap mushrooms. These like wildly, they're actually native to here in the UK, but they're in like an invasive species. So pretty much everywhere they've been taken, so like North America, Australia, they've just taken over. She said, oh, this Asian market. Then she changed her story. She said, look, actually, I do like to forage, but I didn't want to say that because that would look dodgy.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, my pantry may have contained a mixture of shop-bought mushrooms and foraged mushrooms, and I don't know what's what. So as they're all dying off, she checks herself out of the hospital.
Against medical advice, if I remember correctly.
The doctor, there's a voice recording of the doctor ringing the police and said, look, we've got this woman here who's just checked herself out. She may have toxic mushrooms in her system. We're very concerned about this.
Yeah.
And she, look, they were worried about how ill she might be, how her organs might stop working.
And the fact she had children under her care as well.
She seemed to be all right, though, because she drove immediately back home, picked up the little machine which she used to dry out the mushrooms and took it to the dump. Literally the day after, the day she's checked herself out. Every step of the way, this looks dodgy as fuck.
Well, and it's like the fact when she went to forage the mushrooms, she had her phone on her so they know exactly where she got them from and things like that as well.
Yeah. I know everything about it. Every single thing that comes out in this trial has been, oh, she killed him.
Yeah.
And there's no way and the jury, the prosecution even said during the trial at the end when they were wrapping up, they were like, look, we don't know the motive and we urge you not to consider the motive when the evidence is so overwhelming
that for whatever reason
she fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like individual Wellingtons. The fucking the plates were different, so she knew whose was what. She's getting rid of the evidence within the day, which you could argue, oh, well, she's panicking, people have died and she's not sure, she doesn't, but, she's lied about them while they're coming round.
Yeah.
We know there's tensions building.
And if I remember correctly, she factory reset all of her phones 3 times, and one of them remotely that was actually in the custody of the police, and she managed to. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could.
Well, I don't think you really can do it properly, which is why it's been.
Yeah, which is just mental. So yeah, like look, I think it's quite clear
she did it.
She murdered these people.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah, and she's been convicted, hasn't she? So.
Oh, it took the jury like a frighteningly short amount of time to come back with the verdict.
Yeah.
They were in and out. They were like, yeah, she did it.
It's open and shut case, my good man.
Yes.
I mean, fucking right. She fucking did it.
Half-rural town in Victoria, semi-rural town in Victoria.
Yeah, with 5,000 people population.
Which is like, you know, a little bit east of Melbourne.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so insane. I think that's why I've just loved it.
I got to be honest, I just wasn't that blown away by it.
I just remember thinking, I was like, because look, we all love a good murder. There's a reason that half the TV shows and books that go out there involve murder and murder mysteries. But there's no mystery to it. Like, she's literally been as blatant and blasé.
The only mystery is we don't 100% know why she did it. Like, why? Like, I would understand, not understand, but you could be like, yeah, she tried to kill the husband. Do you know what I mean? That would make more relative sense. But to kill it, like, his whole
he doesn't turn up.
Yeah, it's just... But also, why did she think she needed to invite all of them
to make it less suspicious?
But then at what point? But then it makes it more suspicious if they all die.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 is like, okay, fair enough. 1 out of like 7.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, do you know what? Feel absolutely fine. Like everything about this trial, I'm like, I don't know how you thought this was going to go.
The thing is, they say people who murder think they're more intelligent than they are.
I know, but there's usually some attempt to cover it up. She's made no attempt.
No, none whatsoever.
Other than retroactively wiping her phone and dumping some of the equipment.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't really think in today's age there's many ways you could murder and, like, legit get away with it without leaving any evidence.
No, Steph seems pretty confident.
Really? What does she think she could do?
I daren't ask.
I'd be concerned.
I think it's better a surprise my own death when it comes, either from you or from her.
It would be refreshing for it to be someone else who's threatening it.
What's nice is that I've managed to cultivate a life for myself where 2 of the people closest to me are quite keen to murder me.
No, that's not fair. I'm not keen to murder you. I just want to make sure you don't profit from my death. That's the motivation of mine.
And the method is poison. That's disgust.
No, I think I might do it with my bare hands.
Oh, well, but if you're terminally ill.
No, but if I'm terminally ill, I don't think I'm necessarily going to go through treatment. I'm still strong.
No, you're terminally ill. Your body is shutting down on you.
I've got to be honest with you, bro. I still bat myself.
No, can't, bro.
No, I'm like, I just think, and the thing is, fine, I won't do it with my bare hands. I'll just get a knife.
Yeah, but your body is shutting down on you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're at some stage going to come visit me.
Oh, well, not now.
But bro, I need to tell you something.
Like, yeah,
come closer.
Text it.
Come closer. No, closer. And I'll be like, look, it's on you. You fell for this.
I'm going to come in looking like in SWAT team. I'm like vest, just riot gear, in fact, helmet.
I'll set something up. You won't necessarily see it coming.
Steph says the same.
I'll do like a knockdown ginger situation. I might catch someone else by accident. You know, it's a real high risk situation. Knock on your door, whoever comes, just fucking.
You do like high risk, high reward. You've always been
Steph,
a fan.
I'm so sorry. It wasn't meant to be you. Yeah. I'm not going to murder your missus, by the way.
If there's any inkling, like if we're over together and you sort of cough and there's like a bit of blood in the tissue or something, my whole family is going to ground.
Well, look, you've got the means to stay away.
I'm talking bunker in a countryside. You will never find us.
Yeah. I mean, if you're sensible, your bunker's in New Zealand, but, you know, just saying.
I'm not getting on a plane where you might have access to the plane. Crazy.
It turns out I'm driving it.
You're like, I foresaw this day.
Is it rude that I think even dying of cancer that I could murder you?
I think it's rude. I think it's symbolic of who you are and your beliefs of yourself. This is a man who thought he could punt, to bring it full circle back to the Australian thing. It's a man who thought he could knock out a kangaroo.
I still think I can knock out a kangaroo. Like, I've heard valid arguments as to why kangaroos are dangerous, but I just bat myself.
I hope that's not affected it. I did just touch a button on the machine.
For some reason, you keep hitting the one button you shouldn't hit.
Why is it? I've never touched that button before in my life.
Today you've done it twice.
My hand keeps going over it.
I don't even know if it's meant to be lit up like that now. You're making me doubt everything.
No, I've turned it off.
Fair enough.
All I was going to do is, this is you considering, well, as soon as the doctor says, look, it's not good, and you're just like,
Sometimes my genius is, it's almost frightening.
The thing is, it now means I can't tell you I've got a terminal diagnosis.
No, and I know you wouldn't. That's why I said as soon as there's any sign, I'm gone.
The thing is, I live in
Audi. I'm Romeo Dunn.
I don't live the healthiest of lifestyles, so you might misinterpret all sorts of things.
It'll be like, do you remember when back in the COVID times and anyone even sneezed or coughed and everyone was like, disease?
Do you know what annoyed me, and it still annoys me to this day, is how people will invade your personal space.
Oh.
Like, genuinely.
I got real anxiety over that during COVID.
There was a bloke the other day at work that was asking me to help him with something, which is fine. But first off, he had the worst breath I've smelt in a long time. To the point I actually had to take a step. And he was literally here, like, people are not what he was over, like, shoulder to shoulder. And I was like, and I actually sort of went, why are you getting so close? There's no need for you to get this close to me. And I was trying to say it as, like,
politely as you could.
And it didn't, like, I stepped away from him twice. And both times within 30 seconds.
He was back.
He was back again. And it was just like, this is rude. Like, you just.
Yeah, some people have absolutely zero spatial awareness, like
boundaries.
Like, I remember when I worked with bloke. It's always people who stink as well. No, it's not always. They just stand out more. But because when we had one of the companions and he stunk really badly, like, I don't know, he might have just taken a shower once in like 2006 and thought, no, that's not for me.
Enough.
But he would there'd be some spaces in certain parts of the building or such where there's only room for one person.
Yeah.
And rather than just wait for you to be done and go, oh, I need to get, like, I would, if you were in that gap, I'd either say, oh, can you hand me that? Or I'd go, oh, I'm really sorry, I just need to get to that cupboard for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait for you to get out. He'd, like, slide past you, rubbing up against you and everything.
I'm not a fan of that.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And do you know what annoyed me even more? And I think this would have annoyed you as well. Because he was asking if this thing was halal, basically.
Country's gone, mate.
And it was
Country's gone.
It was vegan. You know, it was vegan, but apparently.
I'm glad you picked up on that, and it doesn't just look like clear racism on my end, by the way.
No, it was
clear Islamophobia.
Referencing a previous episode.
Clear Islamophobia over here.
We talked about someone we know that was outraged by the fact Greggs.
Someone
wanted halal products at Greggs. But apparently not all vegan products are halal because in some of the processes they can use alcohol for some of it. So, but for love nor money. And
I didn't realise that was the reason. I knew not all vegan products were halal, but
yeah, but apparently some of the products.
No, that's interesting.
I literally said I had, because at one point, because he was trying to use the customer Wi-Fi, that wasn't working, and I was like, because he had an app that you can literally just scan the barcode and it will tell you, but because he didn't have it, and I was like, do you not have 4G? And he was like, no, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, everyone has, and he had a smartphone in his hand, so it's like either you don't want to use your 4G.
I think the most likely.
Yeah, he was just being really cheap.
Or it could have been a dead stop.
So I've now got my phone out and I'm googling it, and he was like, "How have you got the store Wi-Fi working?" I was like, "I'm not using the store Wi-Fi.
I've got 4G.
I'm using 5G."
Oh, big man on campus.
Danger.
Trying to find if we've got anything that's like really braggy or.
That's why I just went danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've got 5G.
That'd do.
I live near a tower. That might contribute to your eventual death because 5G towers and cancer.
It could do.
But he was like, "So how are you googling that?" And I was like, "So on my 5G." And he was like, "Oh, cool. So we can use your personal hotspot." Or like he could. I was like, "No." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You're not using my."
That goes above and beyond customer service.
That's not. And he was like, "Well," he then suggested something else, and I was like, "No, like that's just not." Oh, you wanted me to download the apps he has and stuff, and I was like, "No, I'm not doing that either." Like, and I went on the manufacturer's website, and even on their website, it did not say anything about being halal.
So you just got to say, like, probably not. They don't take the risk.
So I said, like, look, you have two options. Either you don't buy it, or you buy it, keep the receipt, and when you leave here and you have internet again, check it on your app, and if it's not halal, bring it back. And he was like, such a great simple solution while he's here breathing is disgusting. And have you ever noticed people with disgusting breath
breathe when they talk? Like, yeah,
they breathe as hard as they can at you, like it's like they know.
Yeah,
like the same as anyone with BO. They're like arms raised constantly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, wafting it about.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, breathing the ambience, like that moment in White Chicks where he's farting.
They'll be like, "Oh, I just jogged here," and you're like, "You don't say."
Yeah,
really.
I've been at the gym all day. So no random, but that happened at work, and it really fucking irritated me. And the thing is, in that you just can't get angry at them. But that was one of the first moments in a long time where I nearly
snapped at
the
someone.
fact I stepped away from him twice, and he took that as a thing to
Yeah, maybe you could have been like, actually, you're blocking the signal. I can't 5G it while you're standing right next to me.
Get the swerve ready. Because speaking of people who like to break personal space, let's talk about Thomas Partey.
Hey, you mean the unnamed Premier League star?
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
The
unnamed 30-year-old footballer who lives in Barnet.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's fucking... I'd like to know what you think, but just off the bat, it's fucking disgraceful, I think.
Well, look, Russell Brand told us there's certain rapists we should be going after and certain ones we shouldn't. No, look.
And we know there's no list anymore. So.
Like, legitimately, and I've said this to you guys for ages, and I've probably said it on the pod at some point, but Arsenal and Arteta should be absolutely shamed, and they should be remembered horrendously for continuing to play him.
I've got to be honest with you.
He's been charged. That's the short. He's been charged.
Yeah, because the thing is, I actually named him when Alex was on a while ago, because I just wanted to talk about the fact these stories keep coming out, and I was like, I don't even know and I was like, fuck it, Thomas Partey's the player they're saying it is. And there's so many things wrong with it, because the only reason apparently he's been charged is allegedly he was offered a new contract by Arsenal, which they then withdrew. Now you can question as to why they withdrew it, but apparently the Crown Prosecution Service decided he was at risk of getting a contract further afield, even potentially in places where they couldn't have him brought back to the country, so they felt they had to do it then and there.
Well, a lot of the charges, I don't know the full ins and outs, but I know a good chunk of the charges took place internationally. Yeah, not necessarily these charges, but... The
reason I hate Arteta for this, if I'm being honest, is there was a moment last season, because I didn't realise that it involved Spain at some point.
That's where when the story first broke, when I first heard it, it was a woman sharing her experiences in Spain about how he tried to get her and her friend, and then how he had gone on to successfully sexually assault her.
Because basically, any time Arsenal were playing in Europe in Spain, suddenly Thomas Partey was injured. And there was a press conference last
when
season
they played Real Madrid, I think.
And Arteta was asked what injury Thomas Partey had. And he said, he felt something. But the bit that really annoyed me was the fucking smirk and laugh. And all the men in the room fucking laughed when he did it. And it's just disgusting. And people can say that it's difficult because, he's not... At that point, he hadn't been charged. And at that point, nothing's been proven. And even now, nothing's been proven.
I'm a big player of devil's advocacy, so I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
It could be interpreted that Arteta was smiling and laughing because it was like he doesn't believe there's anything against Partey. And he's like, you guys always asking these questions. He's like, come on, that's the question you all really want to ask. That could be one interpretation. But obviously, the more likely interpretation is we all know the story. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
And I know you know.
And it's hilarious, isn't it? Yeah. That we actually can't physically take him
we're
to this country because he'll get arrested. What annoyed, because the thing is, people have been like, well, he was one of his best players, and it was like, yeah, but we don't have to go that far into the past to see an example at Everton when I believe David Moyes was in charge at the time.
You're talking about Sigurdsson?
No, Sigurdsson, yeah. Where literally the minute it came out that he'd been accused of things, David Moyes demanded he was suspended. And when he was asked about it, he was like, I've got daughters. He was like, and I would expect any manager in my situation to do the same thing. Now, what I'm not saying is...
Ashley Greenwood. Is it Ashley?
Ashley Greenwood?
Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood. Yeah. Even Man United.
Oh, Man United just cut ties.
Yeah.
Stuck him in the reserves until they could get rid of him.
Yeah, until either it's resolved
but
or...
what after that came out, even though no one she never pressed any charges, and
he's not been charged.
that's what all the United fanboys like. Oh, he never,
And there's shitloads of United fans out there that would love to have him at United.
But at the end of the day, the second that story broke, United tried everything. He never played for him again.
No. And the thing is...
Sigurdsson never played again.
I would argue United were probably in the most difficult situation in the sense of he was a highly sellable asset. He was an incredibly talented footballer. If I remember correctly, he was in good form at the time. Even
City, and it wasn't quite as bang as it was with everyone else, but Mendy.
Yeah, now I think it's
a little bit more, but
because it's difficult. I would say you should suspend them, but I don't think they should necessarily be suspended without pay because you haven't been proven guilty of anything. And in the Mendy situation, I don't know whether he's actually innocent or guilty, but he's been proven.
He went to prison, oh yeah, okay.
He's since been proven innocent or not guilty at least, or within a reasonable doubt. And he's been able to sue Man City and get awarded 11 million for the wages they didn't pay.
But the fact is, every player that steps out onto that pitch represents you and your club. For example, you or I at work, if there was an accusation against me...
I wouldn't be in that building until it was resolved.
I certainly wouldn't be in a front-facing role. I would be taken straight off the back and it'd be like, look, here's some fucking desk shit you can get on with. Yeah. And that, like you said, that's being generous, or they just would put me on gardening leave, suspended. Yeah.
Until this is resolved, you're not to step foot in the building.
At the very least, I'm being taken away.
Yeah.
You would be taken away.
Yeah.
The fact that this came up and they continued to play him and praise him and talk about how important...
and also, what's really unfair, because Arsenal fans are then put in a position of being morally compromised. Do you know what I mean? Where they were cheering for a player that they all knew was being accused of stuff, because everyone knew. And last season, I think he scored quite an integral goal at one point, and the fans cheering, they're being put in a position where it's like, well, what do we do? It's a huge moment for us, but there's also this fucking scumbag on the pitch. So you're putting people in a really unfair position. And I think it's such a privileged position to be a footballer at that level, earning that level of money, that if there's any question of that sort of thing, they cannot be in the public eye line. And I remember when I talked to Alex about it, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it was one of the women had tried to kill herself that has accused him of these things, because she said what she struggled with was, since accusing him,
fans coming after her.
Well, and the adoration he was getting week in, week out, being on television.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
Being on posters and being one of the main faces of a giant organisation.
Yeah, and that is on
country.
Arsenal. That's on Arteta.
Yeah, and I think, in these situations, money has to be ignored. It doesn't matter what they're worth. It doesn't matter how big an asset they are for you. What comes first is the public good and your fans and innocent, vulnerable
I
people.
don't care if that player single-handedly keeping you in the league.
He shouldn't be anywhere near the team if he's been accused of those things. And that is unfair to a degree, because people will make the argument, to be the devil's advocate for a second, that he hasn't, even to this point, hasn't been proven guilty of anything, so you're punishing someone. But I just think in that position, it's not the same as any other job.
Even if you frame it as helping them, you go, look, we're going to suspend, just you focus on that. And you focus, we don't want you, all the limelight that's going to come with it. You just focus on sorting out your trial, proving your innocence, and then how you can come on back.
And we'll go from there.
But I think the fact they keep playing him and praising him is, and it seems a bit suspicious. Maybe it's just coincidence that he gets charged 2-3 days after his contract expires, and he's suddenly not got a club. He's not attached to a club.
No,
and then.
I think I know where he might end up, though.
Prison FC.
Yeah, Marseille.
Yeah, they probably would sign him.
They are known as online as Prison FC.
They would sign him.
They've got Mendy, they've got Greenwood.
Yeah.
So, they're not and even Robert.
Not a place you take your girlfriend, is it?
I wouldn't go fucking near the place now. Yeah. So, but I just think it's a real shame, because these people are put on a pedestal, and maybe that's not fair, but you can't expose people to this, and you can't. I think one of the worst parts is the fact they morally compromise their fans who aren't responsible for any of it and are put in a position. I mean, personally, I wouldn't cheer a goal from a player that I suspected had done those things. But everyone's different.
I'd probably cheer it involuntary in a way that, you know, you get like, but you wouldn't get up and I wouldn't be able to jump around.
Yeah, I could imagine in the moment if I'm at the stadium, perhaps in the immediate, like you see a goal going, but then I'd very quickly not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, and like we've literally just pointed to 2 examples there where in the last 10 years, serious allegations and accusations have come against the player and they've immediately been pulled from the, you know, like with Greenwood, I know it wasn't.
Yeah, Adam Johnson, I think at the time he was removed from playing for Sunderland. I think it was Sunderland he was playing for at the time.
Might have been City.
No, I'm pretty sure it was post City.
But either way.
Yeah. But no, I was just disgusted by it. I was disgusted.
Yeah, and it's don't know how to describe it, but it's like you said, it's legally speaking, nothing's actually. But we said before with sexual assault cases as well, because so few women come forward, and it's so much he said, she said, and stuff. Because by the time they come forward, a lot of the physical evidence is no longer available.
Yeah.
So you get the number of sexual assault cases that make it to trial are very slim, and then obviously once they get to trial, a lot get dismissed or they get found not get. But
and the Crown evidence is very high.
But for the Crown Prosecution Service to have even given the go ahead and said yes, charge him. Now I know, like you said, there's that extra thing of a potential risk of him leaving the country.
It's a very strong indication that they believe he's guilty of something.
Yeah, and that they think it's a matter of.
Because if I remember correctly,
they think it's a matter of time.
It's 5 counts of rape and 1 sexual assault he's been officially charged with.
But basically it means that they think that we're going to charge him. We just better get him now because he's going to go, but we're going to charge him.
It may be a case of they might have been in the final stages and like maybe they would have taken a few more months or, you know, whatever, or taken more time to get more evidence and whatever else. But I wouldn't be surprised if that is why they acted in the way they did at the time they did.
And I think Arsenal, there's a good chance. Arsenal, the dirty bastards that they are at the moment, and Arteta, I reckon there's a good chance that they got wind of it, that the police are getting very close to
and decided to pull
charging him and pulled the contract there and then.
Absolutely.
And obviously they've pulled the contract. That's why the police have gone when they've gone. But I think they've probably been like, oh, do you know what? The investigation's really ramping up. They're close to something.
You know, it's Norgard hasn't been signed to replace him until after this has all come out. So as soon as this all came out, suddenly Norgard was in the picture. So yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously Partey bears a huge disgust and shame and whatever else.
Course.
But he will naturally. But Arsenal and Arteta, who people hail, who's only ever come second, by the way. He's the best loser in the whole league. Yeah, fantastic for him.
I will now genuinely root against Arsenal in every single game they play. It won't matter if it's against Brighton.
Yeah, and it's tough for me because one of the in-laws is an Arsenal fan. Grew up near the stadium and stuff, so it's not like...
Yeah, Anne's an Arsenal fan. I don't give a shit.
But yeah, like...
And she'll get it as well. She'll be like, no, fair enough. And I won't do it in a way where I'm like, yeah, fuck
for
you,
me,
and you're losing.
I don't think I'll hold it against Arsenal fully, but
no, as long as Arteta's in charge, I'll hold it against Arsenal.
I'll hold it against Arteta.
Yeah. Because he would have had knowledge from the first accusation.
Well, look,
because he's been this. By the way, this isn't.
No,
he was arrested on 3 occasions minimum, I believe, since Arteta's been manager. So Arteta would. There's no way Arteta.
And at some point,
aware.
By the way, whether Partey's gone to Arteta directly, or his agent, or whether one of the board members has come down and spoken to Arteta, but because of the whole Spain thing, at some point he would have been told. You can't include Arteta in the squad.
Yeah. Partey, rather.
What did I say? Arteta. We're going to... He'd have been told, whether that's Partey coming in saying, listen, I can't come to Spain, I can't tell you why, or whether the board said, look, you don't need to know why, but you can't take Partey. And there's enough... Everyone knows the stories out there. You can't be blind to it, particularly when it's one of your players.
Do you know what always I find odd in these situations? I get wanting to defend your club if you're an Arsenal fan, but... If, like, say this came out about a Palace player, I would feel no need whatsoever to be, like, defending the club in any way. I'd just be like, look, let's hope the fucker gets the justice he deserves.
No, and I'd be
move on from it. Do you know what I mean?
But it's different because you or I would be putting pressure on the club. Do you know what I mean? Every day on social media, we'd be...
But say, like, we didn't know beforehand and it just suddenly came out, like, one of our players...
I've got no doubt... I'm not going to try and sit here and pretend with some rose-tinted goggles and say, Palace fans are different. I've got no doubt that there are certain groups of Palace fans...
That would be absolutely fine
that are exactly the same. They would be absolutely fine with it. And I think it's the same as the United fans. It'd be the ones that are... Majority of them are younger... They're online. They're like chronically online.
I reckon they're either younger or older.
And chronically online, by the way. But I'd like to think that there's enough Palace fans against it that the club would act because the pressure would be too great, even if they didn't act on their own volition.
I don't even think they need the pressure.
No, I don't think they would.
I think with Parish at the helm, I don't think Oliver Glasner's the type of bloke that would want that sort of character in his dressing room. There's no one in the club that I personally think would choose to overlook something like that for, I don't know, marginal gain or anything.
You'd hope anyway, but I believe.
I'd like to think so. But yeah, just very sad, to be honest. But while we're talking about Palace, we talked about beforehand, we wanted to discuss the current situation at Crystal Palace.
The current still unknown situation at Palace.
Well, the word on the street currently is that we won't be in the Europa League.
It's a joke.
I honestly couldn't be more angry. And I'm not angry at John Textor, and that was before because he's been on TalkSport at the time of recording literally this morning and did quite an extensive interview with Simon Jordan and Jim White. I'm angry at UEFA because this is... I don't understand what's going on because we're not the first club to be in this situation. And last season it was Man City and Girona. Did you remember hearing a fucking word?
Oh, yeah, no.
That they were in the same competition? Last season,
Man United and
Man
someone else as well,
and Nice, because they're owned by Ineos. Do you remember hearing a fucking word about that? But for some reason, Crystal Palace are involved. And
here's the thing, right? Let's lay it down right now, because when the story first broke, I truly believed, I was like, because everyone was like, oh my God, it's 91 all over again, blah, 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 blah. For those who don't know, for the younger fans among us, Palace qualified in 1990, at the end of the 1990 season to play in Europe, but because of what UEFA at the time deemed hooliganism, particularly from Liverpool. So there was like a 5-6 year period where English teams were not allowed to play in European competitions.
Oh shit, fair enough.
And that's when we qualified. So obviously the only time we qualified in our history.
And then now the second time.
And no one could play. So the fact that it's happening again.
It's almost unbelievable.
So the fact that it's happening at all is like really annoying and frustration. But for Palace fans of a certain age as well, the fact that it's happening again, it's like we've qualified a grand total of 2 times in our 120 year history. And both times we might not get to play. But I genuinely thought, I was like, this will be smoothed over really quickly because we haven't broken any. No. They've got to look at it. Of course, we'll look at it, Fletch, and all that. But I was like, we haven't actually broken any rules.
No.
Everyone knows Textor doesn't have a say in the club. It famously, the reason he's clashed with Parish during his time at the club and the reason he's spent the last 2 years, year and a half, trying to sell his shares at the club, because he has no say.
No.
He wants full ownership. He has no say over anything. Yeah. And therefore, it's like, we've not. When you look into it, okay, yes, he owns a 43% stake in the club.
Which he admits.
But the agreement when he signed on was that all 4 shareholders, so Steve Parish, Josh Blitzer...
And somebody... it's Josh
Harris and David Blitzer and John Textor. They all would share a 25% voting rights.
Yeah.
On certain issues. However, in the day-to-day running, as John Textor revealed this morning in his interview with TalkSport, when he signed up to the club, he's never said Parish made him, but I could imagine Parish made him. He said he signed a document that said that he would have 0% control over the day-to-day running of the club.
And that Steve Parish is in charge.
And that Steve Parish would make all those decisions. So he's got 0% control over the day-to-day runnings, which has been... UEFA have seen that document.
Literally,
he's limited to a 25% vote on any major runnings of the club. Yeah. That's it. Also, in terms of the multi-club thing, Leon and Botafogo have shared players and stuff. Palace have never benefited from that. No. We've never had players going out. We've never had players coming in. We've never been a part of that.
No.
So we are, as far as I'm concerned, we're not in a multi-club model.
No.
Even now Textor's gone, he has sold his shares.
That's the thing. Like, so currently, he's not in charge of Lyon or Palace.
No.
And he was never in charge of Palace.
No.
And he now has no vested interest in Palace whatsoever, but yet we're not going to get allowed to go into this competition.
No, and it's the whole thing, and it's like, look, they want to make an example of someone because every few years with the financial fair play, they do like to make an example of someone. And so do the Premier League. And either they haven't got the balls or the big boys have got too many lawyers who'll tongue tie them and twist them up, that they won't go after any of the big boys who are blatantly breaching this stuff anyway.
The problem is we're not owned by a nation state. I think it's that simple.
But at the end of the day, if they make an example out of us, 2 clubs suffer.
Yeah.
One, because the most likely scenario is we get put into the Conference League.
Potentially, but
then Mulder, who are also supposedly under this share club model because of, I think it's one of the other owners of Palace.
It's Bromby.
Bromby's
owned by Harris, I believe.
Yeah, so they get booted out of the competition. So 2 clubs get fucked over to make an example when no one's broken any rules.
Yeah.
And so Textor in his interview today, sorry, I'm getting really passionate about it, but it's such a thing. Like, in his interview today, he said they were like, well, did you not have a responsibility when you were in the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, to put your shares into a trust? One, he didn't do that, but he didn't say this in an interview, but he didn't because he wanted to sell his shares. We all know that. He's been trying to sell his shares for a year and a half.
He tried to buy Everton last year, or this year.
But also, there was no need for him to put it in a trust because we hadn't breached any rules.
No.
Even if we won the cup and we qualified, we have not breached any rules. He does not have any say over the club.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know what, like, it's so infuriating.
And then you've got fucking
so infuriating.
Nottingham Forest's fat prick of an owner fucking, like, at the sidelines doing everything in his power to fuck Palace.
Because if we get kicked out, they get put in. But do you know who's really been, we're talking about this multi-club ownership, and I've just said we've never really shared players. Do you know who is benefiting from Lyon's current situation? Nottingham Forest. They've just bought like 3 players off of Lyon for like dirt cheap prices because Lyon are trying to balance their books.
Yeah.
So it's okay for you to benefit out of Lyon and take the European spot, but we who've never taken a player from there, like, oh, come on, man. Come on.
It's a joke from top to bottom.
The only thing that did make me laugh in the Textor interview, I don't know if you've heard this bit when he was talking about the finances at Lyon and stuff. And he was like, we've actually reduced the debt to 20 million. And then a minute and a half later, or maybe like 2 minutes before that, he's like, well, you know, the stadium's in like 400 million debt. He's like, sorry, what is it? So you've got 400 million debt, but you've reduced the debt to 20.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? It's like, I can understand why the club's in such a shit situation.
What I reckon they've probably done is the holding company owns the stadium, so they've put the debt on the stadium, like on the holding company / stadium, and it's not officially on the club's books. That's probably the way they've got around.
But anyway, look, the whole situation seems so ridiculously unfair. We are not part of a multi-club model.
No, we never were.
John Textor now does not even own either.
And the point he made in his interview today was, he was like, if I had any say over the club, you'd have seen most of the team that just beat PSG from Botafogo in the Palace squad this season. He said you would see as many of my players as humanly possible in the Palace team. Yeah. He's like, and that's never happened once. He said we've not shared one player.
Yeah, and it's interesting when he was talking about Glasner, and he was like, I wanted Glasner at Lyon.
Yeah.
He said, now, I'm inferring and I'm adding bits here. But he sort of said, like, I can't remember whether me and Dougie ever had a conversation about it. So he's like, I'm not ruling it out.
I think he's trying to do Palace a solid there.
I think so too.
I think that's exactly what happened.
I think so too.
I think they had a load of names and he was like, well, actually, I was looking at this.
But either way, as he was sort of saying with regard to some of the board decisions, the odd suggestion is one thing.
Yeah.
But it's not having you don't have any decisive say.
No, and I think the problem is with all these things, it's really vague rules, like the wording of decisive control. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what does that actually mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why you get all these holding companies and
but the
people with positions that aren't real positions.
What's the difference between our situation and Man City and Girona? They're owned by the same people. The only difference is that the way Man City get around it is they appoint a completely new board on the other team, which is exactly the same as all the clubs John Textor has any involvement with. There's no board members from Palace involved with Leon or at Botafogo or vice versa. They're partly owned by the same person.
He owns a stake in both companies.
Yeah, and like I said, currently he's not in charge of either team.
He doesn't own a stake in
So yeah, if it happens,
he doesn't.
I will fucking be so angry.
The thing is, it's going to be so bittersweet because even if we end up playing in the Conference League and we're still playing in Europe for the first time ever competitive football, and what should be a wonderful celebration that first game, it's going to be so bitter.
Asterisk,
because we're going to be playing, like, with all due respect, we're going to be playing, FC Baku or whatever, and it's like we should be playing,
your Roma,
Sevilla or
like proper big reputable European clubs with beautiful stadiums and beautiful cities, and not that Baku.
But that's the other thing as well. Generally, the quality of like the kind of club that are qualifying for the Europa League versus the Conference League, they have bigger stadiums, so more fans can attend.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're only talking a few hundred fans, but that's a few hundred more Palace fans that would be able to.
Rome can accommodate that better than Baku can, for example.
But like Palace fans, like, we've already discussed, like, I'm not going to get into the ticketing situation because I've got my own issues there.
Yeah.
But if a few hundred more fans can go to a games, and that spreads out over 3 away games or whatever they play, guaranteed 4 away games, that's a big difference, man. And it's only the little things, but it's just going to be so bitter on what should be it's going to ruin what should be a lovely, happy occasion.
What should have just been a glorious thing for the club.
And this is the thing, obviously, you speak to a few fans of other teams as well, and they all say the same things, apart from Forest fans. They're all like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No one can understand it. Everyone's like, it's just fucking you because they can't get City.
I do wonder.
It's fucking you because they can't get United.
I'd love to
or
know
Real Madrid
what the
or
Forest
whatever
fans actually think, because I'd like to think that if it was the reverse and it was us waiting for the opportunity I would be in the same boat I am now in the terms
they deserve it. Yeah.
No, it's their place. That's not the way I'd want Palace to get the European competition.
No, like, we'll go again next year kind of thing.
Yeah, like, actually earn it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Forest deserved to be in Europe, they'd be in Europe. So,
yeah, well, I've always said, and again, you can go back and listen to any sporting episode, any footballing episode of this podcast, dating back all the way to the start. I've always said a cup competition is a little bit different. Hence, Ashes, anyone can win the Champions League. But with a league...
that's a league now, so maybe he feels different.
But with a league, you finish where you deserve to finish.
Yeah.
Like, when Palace got relegated in 2005... arguably, you could say, well, that free kick at Charlton, if we hadn't have given away that free kick, that goal hadn't have gone in, hadn't have been equalised, we'd have had enough points to say, and that's fair enough. But then you can go, yeah, but it's a 38-game season.
You should
so
have done better.
If we could have picked up one more point in any of the other games, if we'd have turned a 1-0 loss into a 1-1 draw, or even if we'd have turned a 1-1 draw into a 2-1 win, like that.
Yeah,
so I truly believe that over the course of a season, particularly in
you
the Premier League 38-game season, you finish where you finish.
Yeah.
And all right, it can feel really bitter when it's the last day, and I love that drama.
That's how it is.
That's it. When United lost to City with the Aguero goal, that's fantastic drama. But if United had have just picked up one more point over 37 games, well, then they'd have won.
And
anyway.
I think that's what the Americans miss from their sports is the drama of relegation and promotion. Like, there's nothing.
Agreed.
Like,
there's no danger, is there?
Adds the spice to it. That's what adds the drama. That's the, if you drop out of the Premier League, your club could go out of business potentially. That's how desperate it can be for some clubs. So they just don't have that. You're safe no matter what.
But I've gone on like a huge rant. What do you make of the UEFA Palace thing?
I think it's disgusting. I don't know why they've singled out Palace. They didn't need to do it. They've not done it with anyone else. And I think that on its own just shows how much of a joke and a sham it is. The fact that Man City, Man United, I'm sure there's other examples I can't, because I remember listing loads of them to Alex when he was on. And I was like, it's just a joke. And it shouldn't even be a question. We've demonstrated that he had no control over the club. He now, the draw hasn't even happened, and he has no control over the club, and now has no control over Leon. There's not a question to answer, so just fuck off and let us into the competition. It'll be an absolute sham if Palace aren't allowed into the Europa League. And
Agreed.
it just, it devalues what happened massively. Now for Palace, it was their first ever trophy, so you can't take the shine off of that completely. But
no, that trophy, that's there.
This will be remembered forever by Palace, and it will mar what should just be a glorious thing.
And we spoke about, on the positive side of it, when Palace won the Cup, those fans that are old enough to have tasted defeat in 1990, tasted defeat in 2016.
Like yourself, you got to go to both finals.
To get that victory finally, it was like ever so sweet. For Palace fans, again, that same age, to have already been denied once in 91, to have it denied again, and I'm actually going to Google because I don't know the actual years.
And it is hard not to start to think that this is just big team bias shit. Do you know what I mean? It's because Palace are a little team. They're like, yeah, we can do this to them. But I don't understand what the end goal is. Like, because no one's taking anything out of this. Do you know what I mean? Like, multi-club ownership isn't going to go anywhere. John Textor's still going to own the teams he owns and buy more. But yeah, it beggars belief. Yeah. Absolutely beggars belief. What you Googling, my good man?
I just want to get sure on the facts of so basically I didn't know how long it lasted. Guess when it pretty much ended. That season. That was good, wasn't it? Once the Premier League started.
Literally to the next season it was.
So basically, in 1985, which is a story I do know. So in 1985, just before the European Cup final between Juventus and Liverpool, there were a bunch of Juventus fans that were basically penned in by the attacking Liverpool fans against the stadium. So it's called the Heysel disaster. You may have heard of it.
I haven't actually.
And it led to a great number of injuries and deaths. And so as a result, they were like, right. And obviously in the media as well was the whole English hooliganism thing in the 70s and 80s was huge anyway. So UEFA were like, right, that's it. English fans have gone too far. So from 85, they were banned. And it was only pretty much the start of the Premier League era that they were allowed back in. Just before that, actually, the year before. But basically, when Palace qualified by finishing third in the league, English teams weren't allowed to play in Europe. So for those poor fans, it's like, fucking, we've been here once.
Yeah, and we're back here again. And for no reason. And it just feels like UEFA have decided to do it because Palace are a small team that don't have bottomless pits.
Yeah, look, we're not City. That's the bottom line. I know that might sound like anti-Big Six.
I think it's like you can't kick Man United out of a European competition because of the stink it would make.
But again, why the fuck not? If they're going to kick us out, they kick them. Like,
no, look, there's zero. I don't understand.
There's no consistency
because that's the thing. I think Palace would have legal grounds to sue UEFA, regardless, because you're not fairly doing the laws, are you? Like, you've made these rules and you've completely ignored because bigger teams that have deeper pockets have done this and you don't have an issue
with it. And at the end of the day, we haven't broken any of the rules. Like, you're kicking us out for nothing.
No, you could maybe, I think, to be fair, at the time when Man United were doing it, they were probably in a similar situation. Like, they were owned by the same person, but I don't think they were both being run by the same person at the same time. Whereas I think it would be easier to argue Man City were probably more directly controlled.
And like, honestly, when the rumblings first came about the whole UEFA might not let us in kind of thing,
I honestly
just after
thought
the
it was
cup,
a joke. I didn't think.
Yeah, well, I thought that, but then I thought, okay, but I didn't think we'd be sitting here now to record an episode of the podcast, and we still don't know.
No.
Like, literally, Palace have played one pre-season game. They've got another one next week, and we don't know.
At no point until today did I actually think it was a possibility that they might punish Palace and kick them out of the Europa League. But the general prevailing theory is that they're going to. And I because of everything we've stated, I'll tell you what, there's no way they go through.
Even if we make the Europa Conference, I can't wait to see the protest organised by the HF against UEFA.
Yeah.
Our first home,
the TIFO,
and the away game, like, we're going to march, but the first home European game is going to be fucking insane because the anti-UEFA shit that is going to be flying around there.
They might have to mute the game.
Yeah.
On there.
They might have to. I think it's going to be, whatever.
But one of the interesting things to stay on Palace for
UEFA.
Get stuck.
Absolutely. Fuck them, bunch of cunts. Was before we came on air, we were talking about the Textor interview, and he said something quite interesting that Parish, to be rich and successful to that level, I guess you have to have a level of cutthroat and deviousness, but I don't know, I've always had this image of Parish as this sort of squeaky clean sort of guy, whereas it sort of turns out he quite cleverly, I guess, manipulated and used John Textor to keep the club afloat during COVID, basically.
100%.
And to make the training ground and the youth academy upgrades happen. And like John Textor, to be fair to him, held his hands up and was like, I made the deal, like I accepted the terms.
Yeah, and I respect that in him. He's not.
So he was like, I can't blame Steve for doing what he did.
He's not outwardly bitter about it.
But you can tell when he talks about Steve, there's not a positive word that comes out of his mouth about Steve.
No.
So I think you can tell he's pissed about it, but he's not. Like, he would have done his fair share of skullduggery, I'm assuming.
I think, and I can't prove the sort of no way to know this, I think what happened is that clubs struggling in COVID, every club struggling, we're just not getting the revenue that there was. Then this man comes over and says, I want to invest in that, I want to buy the club. Parish takes one quick look at him and goes, this bloke should not be anywhere near Palace. He's going to ruin Palace.
Yeah.
And you look at Leon. But, I mean, obviously that's happened since. But, you don't want him anywhere near Palace. But he needs the money. Yeah. And he needs it quick. So the deal, and this is what's come out of the Textor interview, that he wanted 76%.
Yeah.
And Parish went, look, it's really tough to get past the Premier League approval and stuff. He's like, we can get you in like that if you take a much lower cut. So he managed to negotiate 43%, and then he said, and then we'll sell you the rest later. And I think he was never going to sell him the rest.
The thing about it, he's then the largest minority shareholder, because he was at pains to be like, I wasn't the majority shareholder, I was the largest minority shareholder. So he had more than anyone else, but importantly didn't have enough to overrule everyone else.
No, and I think that's what happened, is that Parish then never had any intention.
And I think he took Parish at his word that he would get to buy the rest of the club off of him, because he said that was the intention. I was going to buy, in a few weeks' time, the majority of the rest of the club from them. Part of me is like, I don't know how I feel about that. But at the same time, he kept the club afloat. He's moved the club forward.
Me and Steph have this big disagreement over Parish. She doesn't like Parish, and I really like Parish.
I'm surprised.
I think that every decision he's made has been in the club's best interest. And everyone talks about, you just want to keep finishing 12th. Like, it's an achievement to keep finishing mid-table in the top league and one of the best leagues in the world.
Considering the lack of funds Palace
But anyway,
had.
This isn't going to be a Parish loving. Can I switch it up a little bit to squeeze one more topic in?
Of course you can.
Football related, and we're talking about revenue and stuff. The Lib Dems recently made an amendment to a
that was
to a
in
bill.
My notes as well, to be fair.
So it's a sporting bill, and the Lib Dems made an amendment where
football governance bill.
A football governance bill, basically to ensure, basically to set up a regulatory body, how much power it will have.
It'll have none.
Yeah,
it'll have none.
Yeah, but the Lib Dems kind of put a little amendment on it and said, well, look, we think there should be 10 games free to air on television. Now, just to be...
The number blew me away when I saw how many games there are per season, by the way.
Oh, insane.
380 league games.
Yeah.
And they said no to airing 10 for free.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Could it be because MPs all get custom, like free tickets from Premier League teams to go view? I don't know.
But the point is, they said, look, we think there should be 10. In Spain, they do air... I think it's on DAZN, but you can get a free DAZN subscription. You don't have to DAZN, whatever. You don't have to pay for the premium.
Yeah, you're so posh.
They do air. I try for the pod.
DAZN, darling.
DAZN, darling. And they do air like a dozen games a season. Basically, no, it's not even a dozen games a season. Every week that there's a round of fixtures, they air a game for free. Now, fair enough, it might be the shit game no one wants.
But it's a free game.
Yeah. And the Lib Dems were like, we need to make football more accessible. It's a cost of living crisis.
People can't afford to go to games, or because I think the monthly subscription cost to have all of them
and the thing is, you talk about
£120 a month.
And they talk about, they'd have still had to pay for it. It's like, yeah, but if there's a legal obligation to sell to a free-to-air channel, then the three major free-to-air channels, i.e. BBC, ITV and Channel 4, And one of them might have gone, we don't want nothing to do with it. Like Channel 4 might have gone, now we've got the England games, we're good.
I wonder whether they would have had to have paid for it, because
well, they would have. I think they would have had to pay for it, but they could have got together and rather than competing with each other,
done something.
They could have done a deal together and gone, look, we'll take 5 games, you take 5 games, or we'll do 3-3-2.
Yeah,
you know, if the other
and
one,
then
if
next
Channel 4's
year,
involved,
the other one gets the
you'll
extra
get the 3. And they could have done that and said, look, but here's the budget. We're not going above this, and the other team go, that's great. And then you will put in like a joint bid almost, and the Premier League are contractually, legally obliged
to have to accept
the bid.
Yeah,
and the idea is from the Premier League, it's like initially they're thinking, oh, they'll all compete with each other and we'll make a bit of money that way. But if they could have made a deal. I personally think it would have been great to see it live, like free to air.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even care if it's like Wolves Brentford every week.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
the really sad thing is
weird that they're playing each other every week, but
it's like the bare minimum the clubs could do, or the Premier League, because it's the clubs. The clubs.
There are 38 games in the season, 38 rounds of football.
Yeah. 380 games.
You're saying for 10 of them, for 25% of them, you couldn't pick one game, one shit game, and give it to free to air.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean,
on,
let's face it, it'd be Palace. We're always last on Match of the Day, so it'd most likely be a Palace game every week, and I'd be absolutely fine with that.
Palace Brentford's become a bit of an exciting game in the last
week.
few seasons.
True.
They tend to be good draws, apart from when Brentford dicked us last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. Why do you think they shut it down?
Because they get given money by Premier League football teams, and they're like politicians are under the thumb of whoever they're paid by, and like we know, MPs are constantly taking things like complimentary tickets and all of that. So like, I think that's all it is. I don't think it's anything beyond that. It's just self-interest.
Yeah,
we don't like doing things for the poor.
No, we really don't.
I think that's it. Like anything that benefits the poor, I think a lot of MPs are just like, no. Particularly if they're receiving things from.
But like, I always found
people.
it disgusting as well that the finals, like the League Cup, I know the League Cup's a kind of secondary competition, but the fact that the League Cup final wasn't free to air up until
the problem
this
is,
year.
As soon as you allow a big company to pay millions of pounds to be the name on it, you know, you're opening the door to them selling it to a TV provider. And the problem is football is such a bubble and the money's constantly going up and up and up and up. They have to keep pushing for more and more money. It's not going to be long until Premier League games are being played in Saudi Arabia, Qatar.
I know, I'm dreading that day.
It's going to happen.
Dreading that day.
It's already been trialled in Spain. They have
and I hate that.
There was their Super Cup that was in Qatar or somewhere, or in the Middle East somewhere. So it's going to happen because the thing is, the tit's so big. Like these countries can afford to just take over a sport. So and it works. It absolutely works. And that's the worrying thing, is that sports washing works. So yeah, like the money's only going to go up. What we have access to is only going to go down. Legacy fans don't matter anymore. I don't even like that term, legacy fans, but basically genuine match-going, season ticket holding fans are not valuable to football clubs anymore. So the ones that aren't putting any money in, like the ones who aren't paying subscriptions, we matter. We're like below dirt level. So no, of course they don't want.
And like you said, for a match-going fan in a Premier League club, you know, you're looking at £1,000 a season ticket.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, what, 80 quid a month, give or take, plus then the 120 to watch it all. So that's immediately £200 a month. And that's if you're just the one going. If you're taking your children, or if you and your partner are going, that's like £300, £400 a month.
The thing is, they're currently in the position where, as it stands, most people won't be afford to continue the generational tradition of taking your kids to football.
No.
We have our friends who are Palace fans who are season ticket holders, and they got into it because their dad was a season ticket holder and they were able to afford to get there. That's just not going to be possible.
I already know someone who's taken their kid. They now go to a more local non-league team.
Because it'll be cheaper.
Because he wants to take his son to football.
Yeah, to share that love of the game together.
But he can't do that with the club he loves.
And you can't afford to do that with
Palace.
And you can't afford to do it at home.
So yeah.
So like, to be honest, the fans,
like, there's a reason dodgy boxes are on the up and up.
And like, I guarantee you, like, at some stage, if they can't do the Super League, the Premier League will consider introducing no more relegations to solidify who's in there. So,
and I've never had a dodgy box, and I've never even considered getting one.
Oh,
I've
definitely considered.
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. In the last year or so, I have,
and
because it's just too costly.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, all of it I think contributes to why I have less and less. Like, honestly, as time goes on, the less interested in football I am.
And also, like, that's the other thing about these companies wanting to make their money and keep their money, is that you used to be able to kind of like, it was easier to share accounts.
Yeah.
So if you had like 3 or 4 friends, you'd be like, right, well, you get Sky, you get TNT, you've already got Prime.
And we all have it.
And we all just share it, and then we've all got access to it. But now all these companies are like making it more and more difficult to password share and like it's a money, like I know we've said it before, the dam's got to break, and then the future of the game at the top level is it's all played in the middle. The English Premier League is played in the Middle East,
and it's interesting,
and attended exclusively by tourists,
because it's like
at home.
The big sob story in football at the moment is that footballers are playing too much football, which I agree with. But how about you drop your wage demands and not need as much money in football? Because that's the thing, like players needing to be paid anywhere from 100 to 600 grand a week, or if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, another rapist, by the way, being paid 500 grand a day or something like, or was it? Yeah, it was like 500 grand a day by the Qataris or wherever he is. I can never remember which one it is, to play out there and to promote their fucking World Cup. Like, as long as those demands are continuing in football, the more they're going to have to fuck over regular fans. And look, I don't necessarily blame, because a lot of these lads, particularly, I don't know about abroad, but I imagine it's the same abroad, working class lads that don't come from a lot, when they're offered this money, they're like, well, fuck, let's get as much as we can. I understand that. I'd probably be exactly the same.
Yeah, and it's a limited career. You're going to be done by the time you're 35.
Obscenely rich if you played at the top level, if you were earning 60 grand a week, or even 80 grand a week. Halve it. And then it'll be, but they're not going to do that. So the fans are just going to continue to, the more we need nation states and ridiculous billionaires to own football clubs, the more inaccessible it's going to be. Yeah. Because they need to eke more money out of it to make it sustainable to a degree.
I think that's definitely been part of my frustration. It's played into part of my frustrations with Palace in the last few years, where we've started to see this little bit of success. And suddenly, it's all the tourist fans. Everyone comes out of the woodwork that's never been a part of it, and the club responds by making it more inaccessible, by putting up the prices.
The club need it.
Yeah.
The club need it. Like, and the thing is, I've said before on the pod, Palace will probably get priced out of the league unless they get a nation state owner, because we know in football, no matter how well a team is run, eventually it stops working. Like, at one stage, Southampton were the model of a club who bought players, sold them on, and then continued that. Eventually it stops working. You make mistakes, it just goes wrong. So unless you have incredibly deep pockets to make sure it doesn't go wrong, it's going to go wrong. So the chances are Palace's sustained success,
and I think
will probably end at some point.
It's well worth, I think football historians, sports historians will analyse the shit out of this someday. Because I saw someone speaking the other day on the radio, and they said that when PSR and financial fair play and all that stuff was brought in seriously, sort of like 10 years ago now, or whatever it was, when they really ramped it up, they thought, good, that's going to make it fairer for everyone. It's going to stop the people with the deep pockets just being able to plunk. And it's done the opposite.
Yeah.
It means the ones at the top are getting away with even more, and their wealth is expanding and their assets are expanding. The ones at the bottom are getting, Chelsea, like you said, priced out of it.
Chelsea and Aston Villa have managed to get away with. Just sell your women's team to yourself.
Yeah.
To get away with it. Like, Aston Villa were fucked with PSR this season, and they were like, did you see what Chelsea did? Let's just do that. We'll sell our women's team to ourselves, to the holding company. We save ourselves. Palace aren't in a position to do that, really, to be honest with you.
No, and not a lot of clubs are.
No, and if I'm being really honest, I don't really want Palace doing that stuff. I'd far rather it was all done on merit, which so far, Palace are managed. I mean, you could argue with a bit of skullduggery. Parish has done. He's done a bit of nefariousness to keep Palace in the black, but we're not. At least it's not being done with blood money completely. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Look, I faced the day, unfortunately, because we are a Premier League team and we've been an established Premier League team for well over a decade now. I think we're just in the situations where, unfortunately, I'm watching my club become
something you
inaccessible,
don't recognise.
become further and further away from me. It's when I first started going, this has been what 2007. I think I got my first season ticket. 2006, no, 2007. I think I got my first season ticket.
Yeah,
and football as a whole is obviously world away from that.
Yeah.
When back then, you know, if someone spent 20 million on a player, it was genuinely world breaking. It was like, that's an insane amount of money. And now clubs are dropping 60, 70, 80 million like it's nothing.
Yeah,
for mediocre
like Everton
players.
have just signed. I was thinking about it yesterday. I mean, he might be really good, but they've signed, I'm assuming, a Brazilian called Bob, I think his name is, up front, for something like 29 million. So I've never heard of him. Like back in the day, 29 million got you like
the star of the day.
Berbatov, or
it got you
Van
the star
Persie
of the day.
was 25 million and he won United a title. And like that was still an obscene amount of money, but it felt more reasonable ridiculously. But when you hear literally any player half decent, yeah, he's a £60 million player. But then even that, it feels like that's inaccessible to Palace. Like if a big team had Mark Gahey in their defence with a year left and another team wanted him, 60 million wouldn't seem out of the question, but yet Palace are being told they're being greedy for expecting Liverpool, who dropped 120 million on Florian Wirtz, to pay 50 for Mark Gahey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
so even
I
that
agree.
feels inaccessible
I
to
agree.
Palace.
It's very sad watching
Like,
the
know
club.
your place.
You're watching the club get further and further away from being something that you can access.
The one positive you could potentially, if you choose to see it this way, because some might not, like you've been a Palace fan all your life, so like you might not see it this way, but like I plan, or like potentially might have to move out of London one day because I might get priced out of London. I could see myself going and watching
the local a
lower league team wherever I end up and falling in love with that club, because what made me fall in love with Palace, because I wasn't born into it, I wasn't born into being a football fan, was match going and being with friends and experiencing those highs and lows and the joy of it, and sitting through the shit times of like Tony Pulis football, literally from the first fucking kick. Like it was like, all right, we're in for something here, but that, you know, it's all part of it. So I can see myself falling in love with another football club one day, because Palace by necessity have to fuck over their own fans to price them out and make them not important anymore, because they aren't. Like in truth, a match going football fan that's a season ticket holder at Palace to the club isn't really important anymore.
No, if you look back,
other than the actual support
I
and love
realise
for the club.
I'm going back 20 years is a long time in normal time. It's a really long time in football.
Yeah.
But if you go back 20 years and you say to those fans, look, we're going to have a good run in the top flight. Great. You will probably not be able to go to the games. Oh, really? Yeah. You either won't be able to afford it, or
you would have fallen out of love with it.
Or there'll be so many people supporting your team, and you're looking around like a half-empty Selhurst Park, and you're like, sorry, there'll be loads of people buying season tickets for Palace.
Because that genuinely, I remember, because I got so lucky, because I mean, when I bought my season ticket, Palace had just escaped relegation, and my dad was like, are you sure that's what you want? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, highs and lows, man, you're in.
And then literally that season, Palace get promoted to the Premier League. And I remember on like the last game of the season, Dan turned to me, because I sat next to him, and he was like, because I like, you could spread out at the time, because as you said, it was half empty stadium. He was like, enjoy it while you can, because from literally the first game next season, this place is going to be rammed. And I was like, no, surely that's mental.
He's like, well, where are they?
Yeah, because I was like, that's mental. That doesn't make sense. And then sure enough, literally from the first game of the season, it was fucking rammed week in and week out.
And now you're in a situation where you've got Palace fans who have been season ticket holders for 10 years, and they haven't got enough points to qualify for this game or that game.
That's insane.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's literally
sorry,
insane.
what?
And like when the final was happening, someone who was paying a monthly fee had the same right to tickets as a season ticket holder who had a ticket for since time immemorial. Do you know what I mean? They were at the same level in the queue for tickets. So yeah, it's really sad. But I would actually,
I weren't even in the queue.
No, and you work for the club. So yeah, I think it's a sad reality, and I actually think the best way to protest it, if you're a match-going football fan, is to pick a new team, and and they're not going to do that, and people would say I'm a dickhead for even
the gaps to
suggesting
be filled like
and
that.
like, it's different. Like I said, I know it's different for me. I wasn't born into it. I wasn't born into a team, but yeah, like I think that would be the one way.
I could never pick another team. Palace is my team, and I genuinely. But I remember having the thought in 2010, because obviously like 2000 fucking 8. What the fuck do I know? But in
2010 was when the club was saved from liquidation.
I remember genuinely thinking, who will I... Because I was so into... I'm less into football now in my 30s than I was when I was like, 18, 17, whatever I was then. When football was just everything. But football and girls, basically. Same as it is for all boys, with a little bit of nerdy stuff thrown into the mix. But now... I was like, who will I support? Like, I've got to support someone, but it would be really weird going to like a Carshalton game or a Sutton game or something, or a Wimbledon game, because I'm not really a fan. Like, I'm a Palace fan, but there's no Palace. Like, if Palace don't exist, I can't support them if they don't exist.
No.
I'm really like, all right, 17, so I've got a lot going on, and there's hormones and stuff. But I really struggled with that existentially at the time.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as you said, you've been a season ticket holder since you were 7.
No, not since I was 7. 2007, I think.
I thought you said
no,
since
2007 I got my first.
Still a long time.
But I think as well, like, I'm now possibly facing that situation in the next 10, 15 years where I'm like, I might have to, if I want to keep supporting football, I might have to support another team. But that's going to be even weirder because Palace do exist. But I can't get to them. I can't go to a game
to you anymore. Because the thing is, we aren't far off of because if you look at like an American NFL game and the average game costs, that is it's beyond inaccessible.
Yeah, the amount the average fan accesses at a game. But like for me, unless we move way out into the country, and to be honest, if we move only a few hours away, I'm still coming back for games. But if we move right up the other end of the country or to another country, fair enough, then I've got to say I'm not going to be coming to games. But there's no point me supporting Palace if I'm not going to Palace.
Yeah.
I live down the road from it, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But like, I don't know, if I moved towards Norfolk, I'd far rather pick a team somewhere in Norfolk that's
I know you're drawn to Norfolk.
No, but even if I chose somewhere like Bristol, I'd far rather go watch Bristol Rovers. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I will be experiencing again what I fell in love with in the first place, which is
something that's real.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well. I think looking around and knowing that everyone there is truly invested in the highs and the lows. Because at Palace now, I look around and I know that if we get relegated, half of these people aren't coming. Yeah. So they're not invested in the lows. I'm not discrediting a lot of them. Some of them, it's a money thing, it's a time thing. But
to get a season ticket at Palace again if they got relegated than being in the Premier League. Because I know I'd enjoy the experience so much more in that scenario than I would now. Being surrounded by people that are genuinely invested and I remember it's all that mattered at the time. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, I'm like, oh fuck, Palace are playing today. Do you know what I mean? So by every measurable metric, I'm probably not considered a Palace fan, but they're the team I follow, the team I support, and
it's so frustrating for me as well. Like, I'll put my emotions out here and my thoughts out here now quickly. I'm well aware we're time against us. What is time? Bit. But like for me now, and I've probably taken this out a little bit on Steph, and I feel really bad because I don't mean to. But it's sometimes I struggle with Steph being the Palace fan and stuff because she has more access to games than I do, and I feel like she's not more of a fan than I am. I'm not saying she's less of a fan, by the way. Like, we're equal footed.
Yeah.
But it's like, because of the access she has, it feels like she's more of a fan because it's like she'll go to this game.
She's valued higher.
And like,
than you are.
It's like last season, there were a few games where I really wanted to go to, but I can't. I don't have the access. No. And you can say you've made that decision. You've threw work in there rather than being a season ticket holder and whatever. And earlier we were going to buy tickets for a friendly, and I was like, I don't know how. And she's like, you've not bought a ticket for a while, have you? It's like 15 years, Steph. I've not bought a ticket for 15 years at the club. I don't know how the ticketing system works.
No.
But sometimes she'll go to all these games, and I'm like, I want to be at those games. Do you know what I mean? And like, I really struggle when she comes back and she's somebody who takes a lot of photos and then goes through the photos. So there were...
Well, it's FOMO, isn't it?
But there were 2 or 3 games last season where I really struggled, where I basically wanted to get up and walk away. Yeah. She's going through all these photos of these games and how great it was. And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to be there. But I couldn't be. I'm not less of a fan. And I felt like I was being told I'm less of a fan. Do you know what I mean? I'm not... I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I hope that comes across a little bit.
Yeah,
and then I feel bad because I'm like, well, it's not her fault.
No, it's not her fault. She's made the decision that's a huge part of her life, and she's invested the time, money, and energy into having that access.
And that's the thing. I've invested exactly the same time into the club.
Yeah.
But the club have given me nothing back, and that's why I feel a bit bitter about the club sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I've given you just as much as these people, you know.
It's a hard thing, and it's the same as you can find it with your employer.
I've given them,
You can find it in so many different places where, like, you realise suddenly
you're getting nothing.
All the loyalty you've put into something counts for absolutely.
And that's it.
You are just a number on a screen to Crystal Palace, and that's the really hard thing because it's an unrequited love. That's all. That's what it is.
But I feel really, but it's really horrible for me at times because she has all this access to games that I don't have, and I feel like I'm being told I'm less of a fan.
And the ridiculous thing is that you can't get access through her either. Do you know what I mean? That's mental as well. So
I always I have. That's my own issues that I have, and I'll need to address those with her at some point. I've touched upon them, but never really gone into them.
Yeah. The sad truth is, all you can do, because there's nothing she can do about it.
No,
other than asking her to stop doing it, which wouldn't be fair on her.
What's going to annoy me is that's all she'll share. She's like, well, that's not my fault. You need to get over it.
The thing is, at the heart of it, ultimately, you do have to just let go of it because you can't change it. It's not her fault. And the only solution would be either Palace have to change the way it works or she has to stop going to the games.
No, not
and neither of
for
those,
me, then it's like, I think really what I'd be asking of her, and I'm just saying this out loud, maybe I shouldn't say it on the pod and commit it to...
Whether she would stay an hour and 40 minutes into the episode, I don't know. But
I would be like, look...
And I don't think there's anything wrong in what you're saying.
Maybe you could just not go through the pictures in my presence. Just go through them a couple, like spend a minute, go pick 2 or 3 pictures, and I'll be like, yeah, that's great. But then not scroll through them and go, this was amazing. We were doing this. Oh my God, when this goal went, because like I'm then getting because it's like fair enough if I'm away and I can't go to a game. That's one thing. But when I'm here and I want to go to the game, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I've gone on way too long.
No, that's all right, mate. I've enjoyed the chat.
Apologies.
I've enjoyed the chat.
Let my emotions take over.
No, and I think that's something that has come from you being in a relationship. I've noticed you've opened up a lot more on podcasts since having a partner.
Fair enough.
I don't know whether it's something you've noticed in yourself, but
no.
But you have, in my opinion. Fans, what do you think? Since Jake's had a lady in his life, wouldn't want you to melt.
I feel exposed.
It's one of the best movie moments. No, look, I think it's a good thing. I think it's only a positive thing. And I hope that improves for you. It won't, in truth, because
the club don't care.
No,
they don't.
But yeah, sadly, that's you've picked a partner that's as in love with the thing as you are.
Yeah,
and that's just sadly one of the side effects of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be different if I'd had a season ticket stick it from as long as well, because then we'd be in the same boat and it'd be different.
Yeah. Sadly, it's a consequence of a decision you made a long time
when I was 16
that you weren't aware.
I mean, fair enough, you could say I've continued to make that every season, but there comes a point when you're and there comes a point when you're so far in.
Yeah, and
that you're like,
yeah. So it is what it is, sadly, and it's not fair, but it's the situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see who turns up next season at Palace working in our department, because a lot of people really
put off by what happened.
Cup final.
Yeah.
Really put off by it.
I got to be honest, I think if I'd have been in their situation, I'd have been like, do you know what? You don't value me. I'm not really a part of this football club.
If I hadn't have gone, even though I went through other means, I probably wouldn't be going back this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd have been like, fuck you guys.
I'd be like, what am I putting the time in for? If at the end of it, when we're all meant to benefit from this... Because the thing is, you're told everyone a part of a football club is a part of what's happening, aren't you? You're told, from the tea lady to the player on the pitch, everyone's involved. And that's horseshit.
And I'll tell you now, because there are obviously still games after the cup final, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
And I said, if we don't get to go, let's just protest. And I probably would have followed through with that, because I don't know what you could do, fire me.
Yeah.
And I'd have just gone in and done everything I can to make sure that the programmes do not go out, that no one buys a programme. Straight after a cup final, everyone wants a programme. They want them from this cup run.
Because it'll have all sorts of shit in it.
And I'd have been like, I'm going to do my best to make sure no one gets a programme.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone else in the team thinks. It'll be like, I am going to fight to make sure no gets programmed. They want to fuck us, I'll fuck them.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. But yeah. Guys, let us know what you think.
That is a disgrace.
Let us know what you think about. I mean, I can't even remember the stuff we've discussed now, but
Yeah, boy.
that's always a sign of a good episode for me, that we've gone deep on something, and at the end, I can't.
We did the mushroom lady.
Yeah, we did the mushroom lady. There was so many other things I had on my list, to be fair, but
And then I think we did just football.
yeah, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We talked about
Yeah, boy.
Thomas Partey. Let us know what you think. Do you think we were too harsh on Arteta and Arsenal?
No.
No, I agree, but you know, got to
Throw
give
it
the people
open,
the
throw it
option. People are allowed to disagree with us. We have one of our mantras is that we should be able to disagree on subjects, and you know, I mean, I still think there's lines you can draw, but yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Do us a massive favour as always. Go on our social media. Jake, point to the screen.
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
You can find us on Twitter at Swords Crossing, on Facebook at Crossing Swords, on Instagram and TikTok at Crossing Swords _podcast, and you can email us at crossingswords19@gmail.com. If you're listening to this and you're not on YouTube, please do us a massive favour. Click on the links in our description, whether it's the YouTube, the TikTok, the Instagram. Like what's on there, particularly TikTok and YouTube, because I don't use Instagram. I don't understand it. I don't like it. So go on TikTok and YouTube, click on a video, any video, like it, comment. You know, does a massive benefit for us, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And if you've made it an hour and 45 minutes into this episode,
That's a long one.
we thank you even more for doing so. It means a lot.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end.